I've got a great piece of news that's going to require a screen share.
I love it.
The only one I did have you guys covered last week, and that was the LX 700 with a front locker or whatever.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the funny Instagram guy? What's his name? It's not that funny. Zachary something.
Zach Deal or Dial or whatever.
Yeah, his little bit on it was funny. I was surprised that I'm curious if that was like a loaner vehicle, like a press fleet vehicle, or if he like borrowed from a dealer or something, because that was a scathing review for Toyota to sponsor. I know that's not sponsor. I know realistically they want all kinds of reviews, but they don't. They want good reviews.
They don't really, yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad review, but it was like very much pointing out the worst parts.
Yeah, that's a classic story from Andrew St. Pierre White, where he has always basically he used to work with manufacturers a lot more than he does now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly because all the manufacturers, like, well, not all, but a lot of the manufacturers weren't a fan of him, like, telling them on the front end, my review is my review. It is going to be completely unbiased in my opinion. It might be good, it might be bad. And because of a couple of bad things that he pointed out about a couple of vehicles, namely a Mitsubishi, Mitsubishi completely cut ties from him, and he can't get Mitsubishis from them anymore. And
which is sad.
Land Rover actually held out the longest with him, but then they also eventually changed. But he said it was mostly because the people that were in charge of who gets loaner vehicles and things like that had changed hands, basically, and so all of his like grandfathered in sway left when those people left, so he doesn't really get cars anymore from anybody. So
That's crazy.
That'll happen.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that I imagine he wouldn't fit in very well with Ferrari.
Right.
They're notorious.
Yeah, they cut people off all the time.
Yeah, they're quite litigious about it too, from what I understand.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yep. I just needed an excuse to say that word. I really like it.
Just gotta get the big words in.
Yeah.
This guy.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi. Sorry, I'm tardy.
We've been saying that about you for years.
Sorry, I'm tardy to the Campfire Passport podcast.
Wow, look at you.
That was...
Have we even started recording yet? This is ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I've been recording the whole time. So
always be recording.
Always be recording.
Mm-hmm. ABR.
Let's see here.
Welcome, Jesse. I'd like to jump into our conversation, take something from the chat and move it, or the group chat, and move it over into shared screen here.
Oh, good.
I just want to mention that I missed out on 100 and...
It was a busy day.
I know, 108 messages.
108, is that it?
That's how the gun group chat is for me, because I keep that on red.
So if you look at the screen share here,
oh Jesus Christ.
Volkswagen Audi specialty tools, and I just want to scroll down a little bit, and we were talking about what's easier to work on and what's easier. There are 5 pages of Volkswagen Audi specialty tools necessary. And now if you go to Mazda Dealer Equipment Program and you go to the Mazda specialty tool there's no tools. Now this is only funny because the website just isn't showing anything.
Yeah.
But,
Also, there's a spring compressor set in there. That's not exactly
No, it's just
Volkswagen
an ad.
specific.
But the difference is there is a flywheel counter holding tool, a front and rear wheel bearing remover install kit tool.
That's just a
Fuel
fancy
gauge
hammer.
wrench.
That's a fancy hammer.
I know, but the fact that they all there's a fuel gauge wrench.
I mean, some of this is like
Some of
more
it's a little
for
overhead.
your convenience
Yeah.
than it is anything else.
Some of
I
it,
get it, but also
Like, you don't need that, but like, hey,
also-
we're going to do this if you want to use it.
Sometimes they
yeah.
do that so that the factory can make an excuse to sell the dealerships more tools.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you, the GTI I worked on last when I was doing all the oil change or the oil leak hunting and all the other stuff, and I had to get the cam girdle off and all the other crap. I spent more money on tools than I did on parts to get that thing fixed. I had to buy the right size triple squares, and then I had to buy the wobble triple squares because you can't get the regular ones in certain areas. And then I had to get
I hate tools.
Yeah, I do. But all to fix a bunch of oil leaks that didn't have any parts required to repair them. I spent like $90 in gaskets.
Well, now you
So,
have them. So for the next
you
3
keep proving
GTIs you
yourself.
have.
Yeah, exactly. And you
Yeah,
keep
no,
proving
I gave them
yourself
all
wrong,
away.
Mike. You keep
I gave
saying
'em all
it's
away.
hard to work on, and then telling us that you didn't even need any parts to fix it.
You
Right,
just
so I
needed,
needed to buy
you just needed a
specialty
tool
tools,
that you
yeah.
can use over and over again.
On all the Volkswagens I don't want to own.
Well,
Well, you know,
You're going to buy
they're like-
more.
yeah.
Anyway.
yeah, we all know.
It just happened.
Odds
You never
are
know.
you will actually own another one.
Oh, I'm sure. But I
was
won't
gonna
want to. Yeah, it'll be against
You
my
might-
will.
You might not be full Euro now, but you'll always be Euro curious.
I did the injectors on my lunch break on the Miata. I was able to get in there and swap those out, and that included a broken bolt in the intake that was from a previous owner that I had to weld a nut on the end and do all the fun stuff to get it busted loose and removed. And I still was able to get it all 4 injectors swapped in my lunch break. So it's parked out front actually, which is nice. I get to put some miles on it and see if anything else is wrong now that it's not ruining its life with fuel.
It does run better though.
Oh, so much better. It idles super low, but it's not dying, and it's able to like actually idle and run through the entirety of its rev range instead of just starting at 4,000 RPM and up. It definitely was just dumping fuel with that injector. I know I've talked about that a bunch, but that one, the number 3, I think, was just pouring fuel into there. I pulled the spark plug out after I swapped everything, and I put new plugs in it as well. And the old plug came out. It's been in the garage for like 3 weeks, and it was all wet still. So,
Are you telling me that a Lucas product couldn't fix a vehicle of yours?
no, this is
His
previous owner
favorite tool?
issues. Yeah.
Speaking of special tools,
Yeah. Coming from the guy who's still got my transmission stop slip.
It's sitting right there on the shelf for you when I see you next.
I'm not worried about it.
I have a gripe with you
Uh-oh.
that I need to air.
Hit it.
And what I should have done was pulled up the audio for this. But there was a statement made on a previous podcast that Mike made about black vehicles and how
I know.
he would never get a black vehicle for his wife because it's going to be too much work. And
Say whatever you want. I commented that on there as I was listening yesterday or today. Yep, I
what
brought it
color
up.
is your wife's new truck that
She
she
got
just
a
got?
black
Mhm.
Escalade.
48 hours.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Less than 48 hours later, that sucker
Hey,
was in a black SUV.
I did not want it. I did not want it. I did not want it. And yet here we are. She
yes,
did.
you did do. You
I didn't want a
it,
black car.
though.
She liked it. But
Well,
anyway,
she's now better than everybody, though.
I
She was
know.
a black Escalade.
Yeah.
Well, everybody but the Range Rover drivers. Yeah.
Yeah, but those those moms, bring herbal tea and listen to Taylor Swift. Black Escalade moms what is it? It's rap music in Monster. Have you seen all those?
No, I have not. Since I'm not
So
part
there-
of the Escalade culture.
There's a bunch
Sorry.
of reels about how there's black SUV moms and there's white SUV moms, and it's like the color of the SUV, not the color of the mom.
Not
That's
fun.
risky.
I know. And
I don't know if I want to be a part of this conversation, even a little bit.
and it's like the Taylor Swift granola moms versus the like we're listening to college, high school music, emo, and having a good time, and everything's a mess moms, and it's pretty funny.
I've never heard of emo as a good time, but it's a different. I think that's like the slight age difference between you and I.
Yeah, I think we're a little older or younger than each other.
Good.
Wait,
good-
what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
there's
accurate.
a very safe assumption.
100%. I'm not gonna lie this time. All right, you guys called me out on lying. I'm gonna tell you
Uh-huh.
only truthful statements as best I can.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's the goal. I'm gonna be very quiet this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I'll believe when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Comparatively.
Wait, where's that last sound I just used? I'm going back.
There it is. There it is.
So, Sean.
Yeah.
You got some news? Got
Yeah,
any
I got a
news
thing.
facts? Or Luke, any news facts since you're the news guys?
It is a light week in news. I think there isn't a
You
whole
said
lot.
that last week,
And I had a good.
and then you proceeded to pull up 4 articles about things. So
This is later. Then I'm going to pull up one article that's gonna make such a splash that
Ooh.
it'll make up for 4, because we need a sound for mid-size truck podcast. This is compact to mid-size.
Mm.
The
Okay.
2025 Nissan Rogue Rock Creek, solid daily, but the tow hooks are fake.
that was your splash.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Look at it. This is essentially a Nissan Forester.
Hmm.
And I didn't read a lot of the article because, to be really blunt, I don't care, and I don't think anybody else sitting here or listening does either. But
Nope.
It is
Is
an
it
off-road
actually
Rogue.
with Subaru?
No, it's
No.
No, it just looks like a Subaru.
No, that looks like a Subaru kind of connection.
I mean,
Subaru's
Rogue is
known for
more.
giving away-
Yeah, Rogue's more like a Rav4 sized thing. Are the new Foresters that big? I don't know.
Yeah, they're all in the
That-
same class.
They're all cars.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say the engine or the interior better looking than I remember the Rogue in the past. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
like that. It's got good angles.
But man, outside it looks as ugly as ever. And it's got some Falcon
like a-
Wild Peaks on it and a roof rack, and that's pretty much the highlights.
Kind
Yeah.
of looks like a.
It's got the same orange, detailing that like they
Or
seem
the
to be
profile
really leaning into
does.
this orange detailing inside.
Yeah. What a weird name,
It's
though.
kind of
the
like an
Rock
Ascent
Creek.
made it.
They started putting this. They have a Pathfinder Rock Creek. They have it's a trim package thing they started doing a few years ago. In Nissan's version of like a different edition is like painting the tow hooks orange and putting an orange stripe on it. And
I didn't know it was a 3-cylinder. That's kind of interesting.
I didn't.
200 horsepower 3-cylinder.
Oh, there you go.
225 pound-feet of torque. You know, it is what it is.
They gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
That's
The
so-
only thing Nissan
It's
like
not bad.
outside of the Z and the Frontier, where you actually like get a rear locker, or the Z where you get like better brakes or better suspension when you go to the Nismo, like they do a lot of this where they're like, we built a whole new car, and you
and you're like,
put orange
no,
stitching in the leather.
Yeah, you put orange
Mm-hmm.
stuff on it. It makes a comment in here that it isn't taller than the standard Rogue.
Oh,
It just
the
has
lower
different
fascia.
tires.
Wait. Scroll back. Wait. That paragraph right there. The lower fascia that mimic tow hooks.
Mimic tow hooks. Ooh,
Wait a minute.
That's a
Just-
good idea.
Are these glued on?
If you have wondered at all why Nissan is in the position that they're in, God,
They get their consumers.
This could be a
Luke. I don't know what you're
there's.
talking about. Look
I
at this.
mean,
They just fired their CEO.
there's a
That was,
reason that I'm not in the Nissan business anymore, and It's pretty
It's the fake
disappointing.
tow hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that's pretty much the only news that I picked up on. I was trying to remember if there was anything that I just had run across this week, but I haven't seen anything.
Motor One has a rendering of what they think an FJ will look like. FJ Cruiser will look like. It looks stupid.
Oh, I think I saw that too.
Oh, they're talking about doing an FJ Cruiser?
Yeah.
Two-door Land Cruiser, maybe? That'd be
I
kind
would
of
imagine if they build one, it'll be on that same platform, right? It'll just be
I mean, everything is. I think they're about to put the Camry on that
the
platform.
RAV4, the Camry. You were talking about buying something a little sportier. You could just get a Camry.
Get a Camry, man.
TRD, though.
Or the universal race car, the Altima.
Yeah,
there is that.
As was proven by the Cletus McFarlane Ultima 500 or Ultima
The Ultima
1000,
600.
whatever they
Pretty
did.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there like 78 cars in that?
I don't know. It looked like
It
a
was
lot.
fantastic.
My dad even saw it. He
Whatever.
texted me about it on Monday.
It's worth a watch. I popped in and watched that whole thing, and it is worth it. It is insane what normal highway drivers will do, but when you put them on a racetrack, those things are broken. There's so many that ran into so many other ones.
There's some big benefits to having an
Did you
Ultima.
see that they sorry. Continue, Sean.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the big benefits of having an Ultima is that you don't have to register it. They don't need plates.
Yeah.
That's helpful. And I'm assuming because you don't have plates, you probably don't have to insure them.
No, and if you
None of them are
bad enough, you can
insured
just
anyway,
abandon
so.
them.
Yeah.
Just leave it and then move to the next one.
It's not in my name. I don't care.
I love it.
So I don't like. So I pulled up that render you were talking about of the baby FJ Cruiser rendering thing, and it looked like it's a 4-door, and that seems un.
You want to share it with the
FJ.
class, or you're
It's
just
not
gonna
particularly.
keep it to
No, I
yourself?
already closed it. I got upset and I just shut it
Luke's
down.
looking at it on his phone. He's just.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not
or
interested
something.
in. I don't have fast enough
I know
internet.
it's a podcast, but we do have a visual medium
Because-
for it.
No, I'm just going to describe it. I'm going to describe it very well.
gonna put that up in post.
It was
Because
gray and
My
computery.
old ass laptop likes to freeze and kick me out of the chat or out of the recording app when I out of Riverside when I try and share shit. Especially when it's like
You're not
any of the
even allowed to be in
automotive
California.
websites where there's like 1,000 pop-ups.
Oh God,
Yeah, and 200 pictures.
Let's
got it
see here. Although somehow it's faster
There you
in
go.
Edge than it is in Chrome.
Here we go. This is the one that they were showing.
I mean, that's a Land Cruiser.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's 4-door. And
Now
it has
it's a-
2 windshield
it's a
wipers
weird
like it's
looking Land
supposed to.
Cruiser.
I don't understand what they're just putting FJ on whatever.
Yeah, I think that's just somebody wildly guessing and
Looks like a
guessing
Jeep
very
Renegade.
poorly.
Yeah.
Smaller
Yeah.
Land Cruiser, it says.
Compact, rugged. They got no idea. They're just making
That
shit
is
up.
not the one that Motor
It's
One
just all
has. But
They say it's going to
Yeah,
be
that's-
slightly larger than a Corolla Cross.
So
I have no idea.
the same size
Yeah,
as
so-
RAV4.
I guess.
Yikes.
It doesn't look like it's going to be good. And I hope that that's a bad rendering, right? Because if you're going to do an FJ, I want to see 3 windshield wipers.
Well, that's definitely not a
There's-
Toyota rendering, so there's that.
Yeah. You think Mo did it on his
Mo submitted this actually. Yeah.
Hold on. All right, I
On
got
his
the one.
AI.
I don't know.
Dun,
He's been pretty good about it lately.
There we
so.
go. It's still ugly, but at least it's small and ugly.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Man,
it is greener.
Mhm.
Maybe in 20 years it'll look better like the current
That's
the
true.
last FJ.
That's true.
Took 20 years to grow on me, and now I'm kind of like, damn.
I kinda-
actually
it's not
looks
even
kinda
tall
good.
enough to need the ladder. What's it got the ladder on the side
It's
for?
got a widow ladder.
yeah, you
that's
got to
just
put a
the
little
thing.
waddle on it.
It's for
You got to put a
Yeah.
widow beady ladder.
You think those tow hooks are real?
Mhm. Which ones? The ones that are up by the hood, or the ones that are on the
those
bumper?
Those are for the branch things.
Yeah, those are for
Oh, the limb risers.
the limb
Yeah.
risers.
Yep.
Uh,
Or
that's-
as
yeah,
Ford calls them
the stupid
gun
Broncos
sights.
have those too, huh?
Yeah, Ford calls them gun sights.
Gun
Ooh.
sights.
America.
Okay.
Yeah.
America. Yeah.
Pew pew.
So I guess I'll bring up this video that
Ooh, a
I
video.
was. Well, I mean, I don't think they'll care if I fucking.
Let's watch it. Let's get pulled off
Put
of
it on here.
YouTube. That'll be
I'd
fun.
like to get some strikes against us, just so we know people are paying
I mean,
attention.
YouTube to YouTube, I think is okay, honestly, but I,
No,
you know,
they'll strike you.
I'm no expert.
It's their AI that does it.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see, where'd it go? History.
We've been bit by the songs before, so
Yeah, been bit by that and by Dakar videos, but those weren't on YouTube. Those were straight from Dakar. So what this is an age-old debate that we've had. we've kind of had this conversation and about this particular vehicle. Let's see here. Share. And it's the guy that we've talked about how he's pretty green. He doesn't really know that much of what he's doing. And the guy that bought Nate's orange FJ 80. And so they did a 100 series versus XJ build off, and then like went and did like a little competition together. And it was slightly entertaining watching the Venture to Rome guy realize how he's supposed to drive an XJ.
Yeah.
Because he goes through all these stages of like the 100 series is all like careful and everything that he does and place things the right way. And then like the Venture to Rome dude like kind of realizes, oh, I just got to hit it with more
a little
little more mustard, you know? And he just starts hammering that thing through some stuff, and it does all the things that like I would 100% expect it to be able to do. Yeah. Because it's an XJ, and it's like he finally starts treating it like an XJ, and it's like, yes, it has no issues, everything works great. The funny surprise though that it got was, and I'll see if I can fast forward to it, because that I think this will actually be the biggest surprise for all of you. Oh, yep, right here.
Oh my God, they drag race them.
They drag race them.
Oh,
so
really?
this was pretty interesting because, you know, V8 versus inline six.
Yeah, but I love that 4-liter.
And
I don't know.
What, Jesse?
I was gonna say that 4-liter though is surprisingly quick.
It's all gearing.
And that
1,000
V8
pounds
is
lighter too.
1,000 pounds
Yeah.
lighter, and it's probably still on like 321 gears. So it has some like top end to it. It's got bottom end torque and
I don't know if he
top end
re-geared it or
speed.
not.
Just leave it in. Yeah.
Wow.
So an XJ on
on.
35s is faster than
Uh-huh.
100 series on, I think they're like 34s.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
that's not surprising.
XJ Superleggera.
I've got
It's a Lotus, basically. Is the death wobble
so-
you just slowed down from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the two pretty funny bits. Just like I said, just his realization of like how he needs to drive an XJ, and then the drag race. So
basically realize, so, oh, I need to treat this thing like shit in order for it to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see here, he's just like just hammering it through some stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's how you needed to drive it, because that's how it does everything really well. Overall, it's an okay test. I don't know. I just, like I said, I think it was mainly entertaining to watch him learn how to drive an XJ.
Yeah.
The XJ way.
I think everybody should have to drive an X-Ray every once in a while, just to remember that the gas pedal is your friend.
Yeah.
You could do some things with momentum that you don't think you should, but if you do them, you'll do them, especially if you're in an X-Ray.
Harness your inner Kyle.
Yeah.
And you'll find success in an XJ.
I mean, you're Tyson.
Yeah.
Is what you
Or
got to
Tyson.
harness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyson's the only person I've ever met that broke both the front and rear differential on the same obstacle at the same time.
Well, yeah, because he kept going after it. He's like, oh, whatever. Let's keep going.
It's great. And then he fixed it and went back out and did it again, and it was fine. It was amazing.
Neither of these vehicles got lockers.
Got it. I see.
So that was a big part that I was like picking up on, because I think they had other videos about this. I didn't watch any of them.
Got it.
I just
went straight to the end.
I just watched this one. So like they had videos about how they built them and all this stuff, and I didn't pay attention to that. They also did this. They did a tug.
Oh, a tug of war.
They did a tug of war. They tugged each other off.
Good old tug job.
And the results of this are also kind of funny.
Really?
But for a different reason.
Is it a kinetic rope?
Yeah, they use a kinetic rope, which is a little weird.
Okay.
But I think they put tension on it before they went after it.
Whoever
But
hits
this
first.
is the result: is
Nothing.
they literally can't pull each other.
Just digging holes.
So obviously, it's because the 100 series is too heavy
So
for the
heavy.
XJ to pull. So, but then the 100 series doesn't have quite enough power to pull the XJ when it's
Yeah.
got force against it. Like that, zero movement.
Interesting.
I mean, put them on asphalt and see who does what. Go from there.
Who breaks
That would be-
what? Yeah.
I
that
was
would
going
be
to
my
say who
interesting-
blows up the
Yeah.
diff first.
Oh, the XJ will explode and it
Yeah.
will get pulled backwards.
Who overheats a transmission first?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of a funny, like, I mean, the video is only like 16 or 20 minutes long or something like that. Like it's pretty short, but it was kind of, it's solely worth watching to watch this dude who, you know, drives a Rubicon Jeep and had only ever done overlanding until doing like some wheeling, and then went and did the Rubicon last summer. And that was like the most wheeling he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly learn the XJ way, and he just like slowly like starts picking up on it, and just like you can see him enjoying
Yeah, you just have more
off-roading
fun.
more
Yeah.
and more, because when he's in his Jeep, his Wrangler, he tends to be like very careful and scared to try things and light on the throttle and all that, and then he's like with the XJ, it's completely the opposite. He's realizing.
Man,
So-
that is not my Wrangler experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
well, not everybody is
People are figuring
us
out. Yeah,
in this group.
I was like, the
You know.
two of us can tell you that you can also XJ a Wrangler.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
this is true.
True. So I don't know if we want to blow up their thing, but who won?
I didn't watch the very end,
I'm
Oh.
certain they called it a tie, but maybe the XJ won because you
but
can.
they like broke it down to I didn't see if they like said, oh, overall who the winner was. They like broke it down into like, oh, the better Overlander is the 100 series, and the better, they called it rock crawler, was the XJ, and they just like better daily driver was the 100 series. You know, most of
Right.
the things that they found were
Pretty obvious.
exactly what we expected.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because
But-
the independent front suspension on the 100 series drives better on the highway?
Well, that's a torsion bar. I think it's mostly
Yeah.
just because the 100 series is so much more comfortable than an XJ.
Okay.
You know, luxury.
Luxury.
It did have heated seats. I did see that much. So
Yeah,
You know.
that's a weird comparison, but I like it still. It's
Mhm.
just not.
I mean, and I think their initial thing was like to buy and build for under 20, which is fucking easy. It's
Mhm.
hilarious, like
Oh my
how people
God.
think that it costs an insane amount of money to build something. But yeah, both of those easily get under there. Obviously, the 100 is going to be a little more money than an
You
XJ.
say 20 on an XJ goes a really long way.
I was going to
Yeah.
say you could buy
Yeah.
2 XJs for 100
Yeah.
series.
Build 2 XJs for the one. Yeah. So I don't know. I think for the, noob squad, the vanilla squad of people that don't necessarily know as much about
Yeah.
getting into this type of stuff. It's a great video to kind of get a rough idea.
I think so extra prices have gone up, which makes that budget make a little more sense, but it doesn't make as much sense. I mean, you could get a 96 for $3,500 that's in okay shape, and you're a $800 Ford 8.8 with a limited slip already in it, and you can get, I mean, it'll already have a high pinion 30. You can get chromoly shafts. You do control arms in the front or a long arm kit, and some better springs in the rear. You're $7,500, and then you buy tires, and you should be done at that point. I mean, $20,000 was so that the Toyota could be involved.
I was going to say 20 grand in an XJ can get you tons and 40s and lockers
Yeah.
front and rear.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you don't have to pay someone to install it, it's gonna.
Yeah,
We've had
that's
this
true.
conversation
That's true,
before.
yeah.
It's really weird because
Yeah.
it's like I can make the argument that I could probably build my rig for that amount of money, but
You're not including the cost of your
that
own
guy
labor.
can't.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
Well,
they built them in this video, right?
Not
Like
in
they
this
did their
video.
own work.
Well, I think they did some of the work, but you could see when the like intro was there, some of it was in a garage, some of it was in a shop, like a shop setting.
I think that one
Okay.
of the things that they broke down on the price sheet was labor.
Yeah.
So they did have some things that were labor. I
well,
don't
that's good.
know what
Okay.
exactly, but
At least they,
yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen there's been others that do it, and you're like, what? Wait a minute,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you had your gears set up by somebody. That
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
it
they're
has to
going to
go towards your
Onyx
budget.
build challenge this thing and
Yeah,
say that
exactly.
nope, I had all this material just laying around, didn't cost me nothing.
It's safety.
Yeah. That's like when they first did Lemons Racing. Back when Lemons
Yeah.
Racing was still pure.
Pure.
Didn't they have a clause that they could always just claim that your vehicle didn't fit for some reason?
Yeah,
or, some
basically, if
oddities in
enough
there?
people complained, either
That's
your competitors or the organizers could basically just take you out, and they would do something funny with your race car, like run a bulldozer over it.
Well, I mean that's
high risk,
not
high reward.
Yeah, that's
it-
not far off of is it the Finns? I think it's the Finnish. Like their driving school has like a rally aspect, and this race series, everybody has to have it. Like there's a price limit on how much you can spend,
Mhm.
but it's up to you if you actually limit yourself to that, because at the end of every race, anyone can come to you and buy your vehicle for a set
For the
Yeah,
price,
there.
yeah.
I think there was
and
that
so like
a while too.
so that's to like attempt to keep things fair,
Mm.
because it's like, well, do you want to invest all this money and then have the next guy buy it from you? Like
That-
Yeah.
That was like I saw something in a history channel thing. We're watching a bunch of stuff with Miles because he's been sick at home, and there was like a king, and it might have been the king in Finland that was like, "You just tell us what you owe in taxes, and we're gonna do the honor system." And as this wooden ship would pull up, they'd be like, "Yeah, we owe you 2 gold bars and blah blah blah," and he'd go, "Okay," but no matter what you said you owed, he reserved the right to buy your cargo at that price. And so if you came in and you were like, "Oh yeah, we don't got hardly anything, we only owe you $20 and we're gonna go over there," and you go, "Okay, great, I'll give you $2,000 for all the cargo of your ship, and we'll see if I win here." But it was kind of cool that was the same way that they do the rally though, because I'm like, that's also a
somewhat
history
honor
lesson.
system, but it can't
Yeah.
be checked.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
reserve the right.
Well, now that we've meandered for 30 or so minutes, does anybody have in particular something to bring to the table for most or underrated, or one of the most underrated, or unsung heroes,
Oh, I thought you said
of-
overrated.
No.
I've been just
You
Oh,
shit talking
God.
Forerunners
God,
this whole
overrated.
time.
We'd all come up with the same
Overrated's
answer.
easy. I was gonna say any Toyota.
It's a
And
Toyota
I'm a
4Runner.
Toyota guy.
Yeah, and why is What is your answer and why is it 4Runner?
Underrated Overland
yeah.
platform.
Shit,
I gotta.
I'm not.
Well, I'm gonna be the one that says it. Montero
Okay.
lives in there, right? Like that's part of its
Yep.
thing.
So,
we've gone over this. Like,
We've gone
A
over
lot.
this, but I do have a gripe there
okay,
because I do see the Montero,
Mhm.
but I think that the second gen and 2.5 gen have reached their properly rated level.
I agree. I see them.
The prices are high now,
Mhm.
and like people know what they are.
I saw one
Now-
today that was like small lift, ARB bumpers, blah blah blah. So as I was thinking about that on the way home and looking at other stuff that's on the freeway with me, I'm like, nope, there's a Montero, that's out.
Yeah. See, so I think if it's Montero, I think it has to be a third gen. I think a
Yeah.
third gen is the series that, or even maybe a sport, that are the underrated versions of the Montero sect there.
Yeah,
okay,
I have Montero, what first gen or third gen
okay.
on
Mhm.
my list.
Yeah, first
Okay.
one makes sense
Yeah.
too. I have another oddball then.
Okay.
I think this is underrated. And we
Cayenne?
will just talk about. Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
There again, I see them a lot.
That one is one actually.
Yeah,
but
those are overrated
Yeah.
if you ask me, but
I think we should throw a couple overrateds in here. After
I think they're
but
rated.
so. Luke and I were just talking about this. This is one that is not completely overrated because globally it's definitely not. But in the U.S., I think the Patrol is underrated.
Mhm.
I think people don't import Patrols at the same amount that they do
Definitely.
Land Cruisers.
yeah,
And I
definitely
think
not.
they're just as good. And it's weird to me that you see so many right-hand drive 80 series and
Mhm.
no GU patrols.
GU, yeah, GUs, GQs, yeah.
I've seen a handful ever.
Yeah.
And I've driven more than that right-hand drive 80
Yes.
series.
Even here where like there's a lot of imported right hand drive stuff, but it's all like what are the Delicas and Land Cruisers, whatever. Hardly see any patrols. I was gonna say WJ or WK2 Grand Cherokee.
yeah.
Hmm.
So in
Not
my
WK1
fever-
because those are garbage. But
Yeah, in my fever, I also was like, okay, well, what would I think of? And that was the first thing I thought of was the WJ. I think that it's a good rig.
Chrysler made 1.5 million of those. They were sold in every continent that sells cars, so I guess you could exclude Antarctica. But
I bet one's been there.
I bet one's been there.
those are,
I bet
I feel
one's
like
been
those
there.
are kind of properly rated.
I
though.
don't see them as I never see them as like Overland builds. I see them as like
crawlers.
high schooler, either shitty rock crawlers or like high schooler kids' first build that got a lot of wrong shit on it, but not properly
Yeah.
built
Every
Overlanders.
time I see one that's like modified that doesn't have tons under it or something, I think it's like I'm really sorry for saying this, especially to Colin, because Colin, when you didn't you have one of these? Or do I make
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I
When
had
you
one.
had it, it was a lot newer. So this is not apply to you. But now when I
Yeah.
see them,
It was
they're
a long
like
time ago.
trashy and they have monster stickers on them and roof baskets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
They never
that's what I
that's
mean.
Jeep culture.
It's-
That's
yeah.
Jeep culture in general. So
Yeah, but
Like,
cheap
poor
Jeeps,
ownership.
you know.
But that's why I think they're
Ownership
underrated as
doesn't
a
mean-
as a platform. Solid axles from the factory,
Yeah.
no lockers, but there's like viscous locker in the back or whatever.
and it's an aluminum 44, but the housing size you can still put 44 stuff.
And they're
If
easily
you
adaptable.
got the right package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full time 4-wheel drive, and if you're talking Overlander, you're not building a rock crawler out of it. So like
Yes.
you don't need heavy modifications. You don't need 37s. You don't whatever.
What are you talking about?
I think the
Want,
shortfall.
yeah, need.
I think we do. Yeah.
I think the
And then-
shortfall there though is the 4.7.
Yeah, but you can
Yeah,
get it
you
with a
just get
4-liter. You can get
Right,
it with
but
a
I'm
4-liter.
just saying, like, it's not you do have to narrow your scope of view because the 4.7 can be a real nightmare.
And overseas, they sold them with an Italian diesel. So
Yeah.
which, you know.
I mean, here was my Jeep that I felt is an underrated Overlander, since we're in the Jeep form, is the Commander, the XK. I know it's not a great deal. Like, it's not like it's kind of a weird Jeep when it comes to the Jeeps, but you could get it with a Hemi for one, so plenty of power, all that. So like and I don't know much about how great or bad the Hemis are.
Long-term reliability issues, couple reasons. But
Okay.
go on.
But the other thing about them is you can hold out and get the QuadraDrive 2, which has limited slip front and rear diffs.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, like that for an Overlander, like that is massive out the gate starting point to being able to go places that you didn't think you could go in your mostly stock vehicle or, Overland loaded vehicle. Like 2 limited slips is a lot of traction adder for the everyday Joe.
Those have some issues with flattening cams, with that's a variable valve timing pushrod engine, and they have issues on the front end of that. They have issues. They are multi-displacement, so they have issues with the MDS system, with the lifters collapsing. They all always need exhaust manifolds, and it's not that bad to replace them the first 3 times, but eventually you're gonna wear the heads out pulling broken studs out of them.
Right.
Like, so they have a handful of issues before you get to the gearbox.
The transmission is what I always heard.
That era of Jeep, the 05 to 2010 Daimler Chrysler
it's a bad
years,
era.
is real bad.
Yeah.
Like they're in now. I'm hearing nightmares about their current situation, but I don't have.
It's one of those, like, if you find the right one, like one that's been really well taken care of, like that type of thing. Like, yes, that's a lot of extra things to add into what you're doing, but like if you go the extra mile on that side, you're going to have a pretty high level of start point. That's how I was viewing it.
And I always kind of thought that they could look cool if they weren't so weird.
Yeah.
Like, you just do a little bit of work, you get the right size tire on it, you get rid of some of the like factory pocket flare crap they were doing, and you just put like a decent front bumper on it with a nice little winch pocket and some like good fogs. You could really, I don't know, Matt's wife Anita had one for like 45 minutes. And in that 45 minutes they blew the transmission. That
tracks for a Palmer family.
Well, the transmission, they like bought it, took it home from the dealership, and the transmission exploded at my parents' house.
It's the longest a Palmer is on the car.
Like, I think it exploded when they remote started it. So like they remote started it, it wasn't going anywhere, it was in park in the driveway, and then it started dumping trans fluid on the ground.
Beautiful.
But I was always like, those could have been pretty cool. They've got pretty decent interior space. They've got pretty decent
space is
layout.
good, but like the overall vibe in it is pretty cheap. That is the inside that, like
that's all
like
Chrysler
Luke was saying,
stuff.
that era, it just feels kind of bleh. In there. So
well, I'm with you on that.
Hard plastics, they all rattle, they all squeak. God, I have too much experience, like behind the curtain on those cars, that I don't like them.
That's fair. That's fine. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah. Sorry, it just gives me nightmares. Where the WJs don't, they're really good, and they're really easy to work on.
That's very true. Yeah. WJ, just a fancy XJ. I mean, that's what a ZJ is, really, but just
same
take
thing.
that to the next.
It's a ZJ Evo.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, on the similar vibe, could you lump the KJ, the Liberty, into that stuff?
I like KJ Liberties. I hate the later ones, the square ones.
Correct. I hate the later ones are worse.
The KK Liberties or whatever they are, but
if you're a solo,
they're a little on the smaller size.
Maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like they're very small.
Yeah, they're not
So-
very big. They're like the Suzuki Sidekick and Grand Vitara size.
It was on my top 5
but-
under 5 like a
This is
year
true.
ago,
Yeah.
and you
And you
guys
could
all
get them in a
laughed.
diesel.
Yep.
So you could get a diesel, which is,
I think I joined you in that loop
Yeah.
though. I think I was still with you on the. There's some people
I
that
like
have done some
KJs.
pretty decent stuff with it. There's one
Mhm.
guy that cut the top off and made it a convertible.
oh,
And-
classic
God.
Mike right there.
Classic.
No,
Cut the top off it.
it looked better than I thought.
Nope.
Hold
I
on.
remember that pile of garbage.
Well, while he's doing that, Jesse, I feel like you're sitting on pins and needles to tell us something that you had.
Oh no, I got a whole list here.
A whole
Um,
list. Jeez.
Yeah. The first one on my list is a Nissan hardbody. I love the hell out of
Mhm.
those trucks.
Yeah.
I think they've got a reliable drivetrain motor, and it's 4-wheel drive. I mean, none of my list here really is based on like if it has lockers. This is overlanding. So if it's got 4-wheel drive, you're in the win. So yeah, Nissan hardbody
I'm
was the
on
first one I
board
thought of.
with hardbody. Well, my first car was a hardbody Pathfinder, and I love
Yep.
that thing.
Which
Yeah.
you could lump into that
Yeah.
same group if you've got.
Yeah, I would say the
if
Pathfinder
you,
would be
if
the
you
better.
need 4 doors, you have to get a Pathy.
Yeah.
But
Unless you get
I had
import
one
one from Mexico,
worked
you
out.
can get 4-door hardbodies in Mexico.
and they are of age,
hmm
so
All right.
Hey,
there you
Hold
go.
on. I'm interjecting real quick. Not the fact that the top is cut off,
Oh,
but the
Jesus.
rest
God, I
of
hate that thing.
I don't hate
It's so
it.
fucking bad, Mike.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate that. That's kind of fun.
I don't hate that at all. If you lived in like Sand Hollow and you never had to worry about it raining
Yeah.
and you just didn't care,
It rains everywhere.
never enough to care.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah,
like,
so
wouldn't have to
cheap
worry about
over
it
that
raining.
one.
This is $800 worth of Jeep,
Yeah.
and then you get $300 back by scrapping the top that you cut off. You're coming out
man.
ahead.
Do you guys remember in the Bend Up
I'm
days
not-
the Photoshop of Colin in the
Yeah.
convertible Jetta?
Convertible Jetta, yes.
Mhm.
we
That's
could
what I see.
Photoshop him into this.
Yeah, that's very much in that
That's
in that ilk.
I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I'm just the convertible Jetta. Yeah.
That's more than enough.
Classic.
Classic.
I'm 100% throwing in L322 into that
Of course.
into this conversation.
Mhm.
Sure.
That's on my
Uh,
list.
Okay, yeah.
I
So
think they're
it's-
rated, but
they aren't though.
No.
Like you say that because of me and you being around
yeah,
me.
but I've seen other ones.
Outside of that, like there's some, but there is such a low number of those compared to any other Land Rover. Like it's discos, it's
Yeah.
LR3s.
True, the
Like
disco
those,
Yeah.
far more.
those are the main
popular
ones.
as a
Yes.
Overlander, yeah.
but L322, as far as an Overlander goes,
Yeah.
you get the mid-range, mid-year range, so it has the facelift, the better interior, 4.2 supercharged. Like it's 400 horsepower. You're never gonna be lacking in that department.
Yeah.
It's got tons of luxury.
I still
It's
beat
got
you in a
plenty of
drag race.
space. I don't think anybody did.
I did. I won that.
I don't think that. I don't think that's the
I
case.
think it is.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll just have to repeat it on a foot race.
I'm in.
It's
Never gonna happen.
never gonna happen.
So my oddball answer was feet for underrated overlanding. You can do it on your feet.
Hiking.
They call that.
Yeah, a billion
Yeah.
people.
they call
hike.
that
that's called
backpacking.
hiking. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
No, that's why it was
not
the
overlanding.
joke. It was the joke.
It was a bad
Oh.
joke.
You and Greg can go backpacking
It's
and have
not-
fun, but
No, I'm not going backpacking. I'm fine.
Underrated in my opinion, the Tahoe platform. Go to the 99 to 07
so big.
before they get big. Before they get real big.
They're still huge.
so is
Still-
that an 800? Is that a GMT 800?
Yeah.
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 Well,
But even the
we did
700
99
or-
to 07. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
both the 800 and the 900. What's the next
I
one?
don't know GM.
The 07 Plus is 900.
Okay.
But you're LS swapped from the factory. To me, that's a start. But and everybody talks about how big they are, but I've been through this with looking them all up. They're not that much bigger than anything
man.
else.
Well,
They're like go forth, but it's about 100 series size.
They're bigger than a 100 series. They're they're about the size of a Sequoia. They're a little bit bigger than a Sequoia, which a Sequoia is bigger than a 100 series. So,
yeah,
but
in the same
I
breath,
don't want to overland a Suburban.
Yeah, there's also that. Sorry, Jesse.
Sorry.
Hey, it's fine.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I got all the room. And I was going to say, in the same breath, this is overlanding, not wheeling. I'm just thinking of what a typical person does for overlanding. It's gravel. It's gravel roads. It's BLM roads.
They would be
not
fine.
really that tight. We take it to the next level. We're more wheeling than we do overland.
Yeah, we take it to the
the
next
thing
level.
is, the thing I'll argue against that is like around here there's a lot of like really narrow shelf roads, and when you go across Utah or eastern Idaho, whatever, western Montana, it's a lot of like steep narrow shelf roads and full width.
It's scary. Yeah. It's like, so I've been rethinking in my mind ever since I started using Raw Dog as the overlander is I don't want to do the road out of McGrew down to, what was that place called? Started with an S. Colin.
Are you talking about
Shady Cove?
The falls on White River?
No, McGrew Trail.
Oh, sorry.
McGrew.
Yeah. For some reason, I
at
heard
the end of
something
McGrew. So there's those big shelf hills.
Sourdough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was sketchy enough, and not sketchy, but like it felt like a little uncomfortable in my tiny little Tacoma. Now thinking full width.
You had a 4-door, 5-foot bed Tacoma. You had like the second biggest option Tacoma as your tiny little Tacoma.
Compared to my
compared to
Suburban.
I know, but you can't call it a tiny little Tacoma.
Is the serious.
It's the one you forgot. You could tell him it was the Tacoma you forgot.
The one I forgot. Yeah,
the white.
But I get what you're. All I'm trying to say is I get what you're saying, Luke.
Like Black Bear is like the benchmark here, and I wouldn't want to take. Tahoe's going to end up at the bottom of a 3,000-foot cliff.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of full-size rigs that have done Black Bear Pass that are like full-size rigs. I don't think that I would be afraid of a Tahoe because so many people are overlanding F-150s and Super Duties and all that stuff. So I don't think that it's as big as everybody feels like it is. I have one parked in my driveway, but it's the newer one, which is even a little bit bigger. And it's quite a bit smaller than my F-150.
So when's the Escalade getting tons and 40s?
Haley's got to stop liking it.
Okay.
Because that is the plan.
Full drive train.
I have another one.
Yeah, stock Super Duty, Ram 3500, Black Bear Pass. So a ton of people in a stock long bed Super Duty. On Black Bear Pass.
Really?
So again,
Man,
while I agree, I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's
in
not
a
for me.
Super Duty or something like that. So many people overland full size rigs like that already. That if you're talking about overlanding, not about tight trail off roading, going crazy, I think the Tahoe isn't given its credit.
All right.
It's given its credit everywhere else, though.
Yeah, everybody else has it. Yeah. And that's why we got an Escalade.
Maybe that's why none of us are agreeing on it.
I've pulled two LSs out of
enough about these fucking Tahoes.
Right.
Yeah. Ferrari FF with a 3-inch lift and 33s. Full drive V12, a big boot.
It's got a big boot. I think it might be my last one that I came to mind quickly. Might be the cheapest crew cab or double cab, however you want to say it, truck, and we just talked about it on a previous podcast, a sport truck.
Yeah.
An Explorer
that's
sport
a
truck.
good one.
Like we talked about, they are so cheap. They're fine.
Yeah.
And it's a crew cab truck.
Yep.
So like find
short, and it's a super short bed. Which
find
makes
something
it super
else
nice.
that is a crew cab truck for as cheap as you're finding those. Like, yeah, you can probably find a couple, like the a Frontier, things like that. Like but they are right there in step with that type, like first gen Frontiers, first gen, I don't know, whatever else.
Yeah, a lot of them come with factory roof rails that you can put a tent on already.
It's funny.
They're-
I had that thought too. Whatever that generation of Explorer is, like the early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
I don't think the Explorer does it for me though, because it's just there's so many better options when it comes to the SUV.
For me personally, no, but like as an option for like a cheap entry point to getting into overlanding, whatever, I could see it.
I can too. I just don't. I think that the main appeal here is that it is technically a crew cab truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with white gauges.
Like because with all the with the SUV version, it's like, man, there's Monteros and there's Land Cruisers and there's this and that and the other. Like there's so many others that are not like the kind of meh Ford SUV era,
I will say whoever took the pictures for Kendall Toyota of Bend on this sport track I found just was phoning it in.
Yeah.
They were not interested. They did not give a shit about this truck and whether or not it was clean enough, or they got the whole truck in the picture sometimes.
Yeah.
What's the price?
I think the other...
It's like $5,000 at Toyota.
I think the other thing I was thinking, whether it's Explorer or Sport Track or whatever, it wasn't necessarily for me, but it was the other thought I had on the Overland.
69.
What made something a viable, cheap Overland option was repair, like cost and repairability. And they're very like cheap to acquire, cheap to repair. Ford probably made 10 million Explorers in the early 2000s. So there's parts everywhere, used, new, aftermarket, whatever. So no matter where you go,
because it's an Explorer, you've got tons of desert truck shit.
Yeah.
So if you get really into it,
you can do Ranger shit.
That thing could be pretty gnarly.
And if you're going to drive it across Mexico or South America, they sold a shitload of them there too. So like there's a lot of where trying to repair a Land Rover in the middle of the Baja Desert might not be as easily done.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So
we didn't talk about the Xterra at this point. I would still think that...
I think it's properly rated.
I think it's properly rated.
I think, it's properly rated.
Plenty of them out there.
There's a lot of them.
Tons of them on the Overland. Yes, there are not as many as there are Forerunners.
Yeah.
Obviously, because
there's just not as many
things that they have to have.
Well, there's just not as many
to begin
on the
with.
road to begin with.
Yeah. So, I think those ones are definitely
some limitations as far as like aftermarket options goes for upgradability and repairability, and there just aren't nearly as many choices for suspension upgrades as there are Tacoma or Forerunner, whatever the stupid thing's called.
You mean the most overrated? Because I told you I was going to be quiet this podcast. Turns out I have
he dislikes
no idea.
them so much he forgot the name.
Yeah.
That says something.
I swear I read most overrated. I was just going to sit here and shit talk the Forerunner for the whole time.
Oh yeah,
I had no plans.
That would easily be
other than that. It's
overrated. Jesse said he had a huge
Well,
list, so let's see what else. What else did he have that isn't feet?
I got a B series Mazda truck.
Okay, so a Ranger.
Yeah, but that's still back into the game of
it's mini truck. One maybe two people.
Truck, but that's fine because you know what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there with a
pre-Ranger
dog and a
B-Series.
partner.
Yeah.
How about
pre-Ranger
Jesse? Did you put
B-Series trucks, it's really
did you put an Arabian horse on your list?
B series is the same as
I
Ranger.
did put a horse.
Previous.
I am not joking.
Yes.
Yes, I did put as a joke.
I love it.
It's horse.
I like it.
So there is a couple jokes at the bottom. So my other one we didn't talk about is a first gen Isuzu Trooper.
Yeah.
I love those trucks.
Yeah.
I think they're great little rigs. You can fit a lot. So you got 4 doors, but that's in the same class as a first gen Montero.
Yeah, ish. Yeah, less easy to get stuff for.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
this generation
Yeah.
B series truck?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Back when it was
Perfect.
real Mazda.
Yeah.
This is the
And
same
yet
generation.
still somehow a Ranger.
Yeah.
This is the generation that Dave Chappelle, the
Dave and
off-road
Dave
guy,
built with
yeah.
Graham.
Yeah.
Mas Grande.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They built
It's-
it in Graham's
I had a-
front yard.
I had the 2-wheel drive version of that. Well,
I
I
did
know it was
too.
a single cab, but
Yeah. I had a 2600i in high school,
mine was
2-wheel drive.
it was a 2200.
I loved how it had a
Or no, not even 22. I think it was just a 2000.
2.6 liter 4-cylinder.
Mhm.
It was a great little truck.
So on the Isuzu path, there are some good ones, but it's like it's hard to get the better ones because it seems like what happened, at least with my limited conversations with the Vehicross friend,
Yeah.
is that like right when they went from the better engine, they switched to a worse transmission. So like one had the good transmission and one had the good engine. So it's like this weird transition on it. It sounds like most of the automatics are pretty bad. The
And then-
manuals are good though. And then the rear axle is pretty good. Not as good as a Montero's, but is like close-ish.
Well, and the reason we're not talking more about Troopers, Isuzu Troopers, is because most of them fell over. You take a hard right turn. We had 3 people in my high school class, in my graduating class at Bend High, that rolled just onto the side Isuzu Troopers.
We did?
There was like this crew of guys. They thought they were cool. Yeah,
I don't
2 of
remember
them
that at
lived
all.
down the street from me. Yeah, it was after graduation.
Oh.
Oh, well, so
One of the
something
guys-
else may have been involved there.
Yeah. But they just
What could
they
that
were
have been?
on the street, not doing anything silly, except being not like off-roading or anything, but probably doing something silly. But they turned too sharp, too fast, and they just went thunk right on the side. It was great. 2 of them were brothers, and they lived down the road from me. One of them did it, and the other one did it.
Yeah, I know who you're talking- okay.
Well,
It was like your brother did it, and then you went and did it again.
Uh-huh.
It was like months later. It was great.
it probably didn't roll onto the top because it is
No, just
so
the side.
tall.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It didn't roll onto the top because it is so tall. It needs more momentum to actually get on its top.
You need to dig a hole. There needs to be like machinery involved because those things are twice as tall as any other SUV in the same era.
So is it like the Reliant Robin of vehicles that fall over easily?
Yeah. It probably would be more stable if it only had 3 wheels somehow.
Oh, man. Well, Jesse, I would say that the horse has been the choice of Overlanders for like 5,000 years. So
It's true.
Yeah,
I know.
I think it's
Super
properly rated.
Just
Super
after the
rated.
feet.
It's pretty rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have
my next one I was
Wagon?
gonna do. I'm not gonna do. No.
horse-drawn carriage?
My last
Wow.
my last one, which is a semi joke but kind of not a joke.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Pontiac Aztec.
I mean, it came with a tent. So there is
It
that.
came with a tent.
And a fridge.
and it
And a
was still
fridge.
bad.
Yeah.
Man.
I saw, what did I feel like I just saw some AI like mashup where somebody made it a PT Cruiser, made the Aztec a PT Cruiser. It was
That's
it
the
was as
collab
bad as
we-
you think
we
it
don't
is.
Just when you think it can't get worse,
I don't like that.
it gets worse.
I think I think everybody's going to shoot this down, but I also think
Ready.
that strangely enough, the JK Wrangler is underrated as an Overlander. And
I
I know
disagree.
that
What?
can make everybody go, what?
No.
But I think you see way less of those than you see other things.
Disagree.
I disagree. I
There's
think
a
you see
lot of
too many
them,
of them because it
but-
sucks. It's not great. We don't enjoy it, and it's not good.
Yeah.
But also, I have that, and I won't. don't like it.
The back seat is
Wow.
tiny. The rear door aperture is tiny. The cargo area is narrow, and has these
And
big
not
ass roll bars
very
in the
large.
way.
In the way, yeah.
So you're saying
The-
it's overrated?
I think it's
So-
properly rated. I think it's a
I
very good platform if it's just two people, and
And if you want to
Another
off-road
two-person, for
more
sure.
than
Yeah.
Overland, yeah,
yeah, and
If
you
the
want to do
off-road
some
part is more
legit
important than the
off-roading.
camping part. Yeah.
It's funny.
That's why I have mine.
You're right. We're
Yes,
shooting
yeah.
it down because I think I don't. I think
Well,
it's
I
properly
knew you were
rated.
going to shoot it down the second that everybody said that the Xterra was properly rated. So I was like, oh man, this is.
Oh, no.
I don't even think I should
no.
say this, but I'm going
No.
to.
Well, thank you for bringing it to the table so we can shoot it down, though.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
you know,
Anytime.
rather than just shutting up about it. Yeah.
I'm all
Perfect.
about it. It is a
I'm-
very Swiss Army knife setup.
Mhm.
It does have the ability to do a lot of things. I do a lot of things with mine, but every time we camp out of it, I'm just like, I wish I had something else.
Like a black Escalade
Yeah,
on
which is where
tons
we're
and
going.
40s?
Hey, listen, it's a 6.2 all aluminum already with a 6L80 already. So all I got to do is put a transfer case on it that's worth a darn and tons, and we're ready to go, baby.
You're ready to slide right off that road if you can fit down it.
Ready to roll it
I'm
down
It
Black
is-
Bear Pass.
It will.
I'm here for it.
It will forever be the S13 of off-roaders, but that S13s also have their limitations.
Hey man,
Yeah.
you see him road raced. I've seen
Yeah.
him go very fast as a drag strip, and I've seen
Yeah.
him drift. So Swiss Army
You need
knife.
anybody to camp out of them?
Swiss Army knife.
Probably. I have seen off-road ones, so
Oh,
That's
yeah.
terrible.
Probably a gambler.
maybe it's an S14. There's that famous like Rocket Bunny like kit, the one that looks like a Challenger, but it's got like pre-runner suspension. It's super cool. I mean,
I'll bet.
The,
For-
I'll
for a
bet
lifted
Colin
car.
would love that thing.
Colin would
The
hate
Mighty
it.
Yeah,
Carmods
I'm
guys.
not liking where this is going.
the Mighty Carmods guys did a Mad Max off-road 13 or 14, I don't remember. But yeah, it wasn't great. It was for a commercial.
Mm. Well, anybody else got new?
Hmm.
Well, I'm out.
No.
I just brought some Japanese trucks and SUVs.
Well, you know.
I like that you have a little JK in the
Oh, hold on.
background there.
Before you do that, I want to.
It's too late. I started playing the
It's a
music.
You can't just
Okay,
stop
well,
it.
Sean.
Guess what? I have something. I have something.
Oh,
Would you pay
God,
money for that?
fuck's sake.
It's
What?
not for sale.
Oh, for that? You got something for. Would you pay money for this?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so you're going to kick it off? Oh, get out. That's not. You liar. God, you're
good.
full of shit.
I would not pay money for that.
Look at
That
that.
is
thing.
terrible.
I
What is.
don't-
What? Get out of here.
It's just a
Yeah.
body lift? Did you just
Jesus.
cut the body
You're
off?
lucky
now?
I didn't kick you out of the
Yeah, I was
room.
gonna say
No,
you
it's-
should take them out of the room for that.
Crazy long travel stuff.
Good God.
I tell you.
This guy.
I did
Okay,
have
I'll do
So
mine, and
no,
then
the answer is no. I wouldn't pay money
Luke,
for that.
Luke, you can pull yours up after I
Okay.
do this one here, since you said you have one.
I
All
have
right, so this
one.
one's a 2021 URJ 200 Heritage Edition
Oh.
that has been made into a ute with a camper on the back. You know, it's a South America thing.
I think
What?
we've featured this before.
No, we didn't.
I'm pretty sure. Not as would you pay money for this, but like I think we've gone over this before. It was at SEMA, I think, or one just like
Was it?
it, and we
Mm,
talked about it.
okay. Well, maybe, but do you know what it costs?
No, I have no idea.
For-
$200,000.
250.
Pouches of meat.
I was going
Here,
to
I'll-
say 120.
But the point of the game is it doesn't matter what it costs. It's would you pay money
That's
for
right.
it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
sure.
we can still guess how much it costs.
Yeah, you can guess because I haven't gotten to it yet. I know how much it is.
I'm
It's down at the
going
bottom.
250.
It's got wood floors.
Are we going prices right? Mm.
Yeah, $1, Bob.
Closest without going over.
$1. $1, Bob.
Well, you've already
I would.
you've already
I
heard
would
a
pay money for this,
120.
by the way.
You would?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Is it?
I like it.
I don't like it. I don't like that bot. No.
I don't know. I'm also not the biggest 200 series fan. I do like that they made it, Ute-y, but I think the like having it be like a living quarters essentially as the Ute part is the overkill.
Mm.
If it was just like single cab Ute with tray bed and like an Aussie canopy, I think I'd be fully in. But because it's like this whole rigmarole of I've got my fucking kitchen in here and all that shit, like I think that takes it out for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was gonna say I could see that because it'd be really cool.
Jesse was only off
300
by
Yeah.
more than half.
Well, I said 250.
There,
Well,
Nice.
Jesse was even
I-
less than that.
I said 126.
Yeah, see?
Man.
Yeah.
Currently
That's big
located in Salt Lake City. What?
Yep.
But how? It's not U.S. legal.
No, that's a regular
200.
It's a
US.
200.
a regular 200.
Oh, it's a regular Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Lexus.
Just- No, that's actually a regular old
No?
Land Cruiser.
That's-
It's
yeah.
21
Oh,
or whatever is
200
like the
series Land
last
Cruiser.
year.
Okay.
So
Yeah. It's the
Why
same
does that grill look
same
different?
thing.
Is it just because it has that bumper on it? It looks different.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, it's the same because that's the same Land Cruiser that
Okay, I
the
thought that was
Stoic
like the
built
Aussie
dude has.
spec.
No. I mean,
Alright.
it's
I feel like this is somebody
Okay,
who
well, there you go.
doesn't want to sell their rig. They just want to put it on the front page. So they made a for sale, like, come take a look at my thing.
Mhm.
It's $300,000. Don't worry about it.
I mean, the whatever, I don't forget what the Earth Cruiser things that were like that were called, but like they cost in that range.
Like the
It's
truck
a nice
house?
price for like a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like a fiberglass backed like custom build yacht interior thing. I think it's too much money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like say that it's
But
a
they're like-
value, but that's
they're
what
like
it
3
costs.
times the size, and
No, the truck ones, like the pickup ones.
Yeah, the truck house ones are like $1 million, but that's like a full carbon fiber shell on the back of a Tacoma.
No, so like Earth Cruiser made Super Duty based.
Oh,
RV things.
okay.
Earth
like,
Roamer.
Like what
Earth
Earth
Roamer.
Roamer
You're talking
builds?
Earth
Yeah.
Roamer.
those-
No, Earth Cruiser.
Yeah.
Our like in bend Earth Cruiser
yeah,
with a
but
pop
it's
up.
still like it's still bigger than that
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not like
by a lot,
huge.
and they're like 280.
You're just about
something.
to argue yourself the difference between a Tahoe and a Land Cruiser here.
I'm telling you,
my
yeah.
friend.
I know, but I feel like this isn't. There's just not enough. I don't know. If you're gonna be in that price range, I feel like you.
That's
either
not the
need
point
to
of the
be-
game.
No. We can. I'm not deciding of whether or not I'd pay money on, based off the price, but I do think that that's a lot of money to spend on
I
something.
mean, I wouldn't pay money for it.
I'm a no.
There it is. Terra Nova is the thing.
Hmm.
And it is bigger.
has the wrong
Mike, it is
badge for
definitely
Luke.
bigger. It's
It does have the wrong badge for me.
20% bigger or something.
Yeah. Well, and there's like they
Oh.
make them so there's room to stand up in them and like move around.
Well,
in 'em. Yeah.
And to put it in perspective, this is 300. An Earth Cruiser started at 250,
Yeah.
which is like way more space. Granted, it's much more of a
It's
it's
more
much
RV,
less
yeah.
usable than this potentially. It's like has a sole purpose,
Right.
but
You'd have to not
the
like.
amount of rig and
Yeah.
camp, or I should say living quarters, it's not really camping anymore, living quarters compared to this is quite the difference. So
No, I'm with.
so
you
this
there,
got the
but
Toyota tax and the Ute tax.
It's double taxed,
Mhm.
you know, and we're working on that.
Well,
So
Just stop there.
I've got one.
I would pay money for
Just
that.
stop
If
there.
you're curious, I would pay money for that.
Oh, at least they got one ally here.
Yeah, I would not. But
Oh,
that-
that was true.
I like
I
it.
have like that-
I like the pass through's cool.
That's
like,
the thing for me.
It would be cooler if it was the tray bed, but the pass through is really nice in being able just to get out of
Oh
your
my God.
seat and go to the bed.
I think this is going to
God.
land in the
Holy
same category for me. Like I have this crazy thought that like it would be so fun to do a crazy long
No.
expedition
Yeah.
in something like that. Wow.
I mean, yeah, if I would,
I would.
but I would have it for the purpose of driving to like Argentina.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would have this. I would pay money for this, and I would do it for what it's for. It would not be for going the way we overland and
This is an
doing all that
RV.
stuff. This
There's
is
an
an
RV.
And you can tow a large boat
A
behind
drop
there.
down bunk bed? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's got like a full bathroom
Oh,
and a
Man.
full kitchen.
Does it say how much this thing weighs?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in
Many
prime.
pounds.
I don't know if I want to know, but
Well, Clark, we're taking
it's
it
on
with us when we leave
42s.
here next month.
It's on
With the
42s.
string.
1,000-pound towing
Yeah.
capacity.
See, you could tow
Jesus Christ.
all the side by sides Jesse wants behind there
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
any problems.
Yeah, I mean it is absolutely a live-in.
Yeah.
Like you're not like wheeling it. It has to look like this in order to get down some of the things that we do in our regular SUVs.
Oh yeah.
is the
I bet you could take a
is the
Tahoe
thing that
anywhere
you-
this
that,
could
like,
go.
I think a lot of people don't understand that part of like this type of thing.
Yeah.
Is like, no, the reason it's on 42s and all of this shit is because in order for it to even halfway perform decently with how much is going on here,
Yeah.
it has to be that way.
There's an 8-foot overhang behind the
Oof.
back tire. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
there's
yeah,
not
that's
going to be a
the
lot of
part-
steep grades there.
Yeah.
That's the part that really hangs me up on that is no pun intended, but that 8-foot overhang. If it was shorter, I would, but no.
It definitely like we've said, it definitely more is leaning. This is an RV
Yeah. It's got a
like,
slide out.
than it is a live-in overlander type deal, because any respectable
It's got air conditioning.
overland, like live-in overland deal is going to have that angled rear cut
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
like the Land Cruiser did, where it's like, okay, we've got an overhang, but we're going to put this at like a 35-degree angle so that, maybe you'll
You could-
clear things as you go up
Yeah.
a steep
Yeah.
incline.
Yeah,
that's
those are all
sudden,
good points.
Any kind of V-notch. There's a TV in the bed area.
You need that
Like, yeah.
departure angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
Anyway.
RV for this
Yeah.
guy.
Good
Yep.
points.
But I would pay money for that.
I'm gonna say no.
I feel like those should be switched for that particular one.
That's
The
just
way
your-
the
that's
way
just
our
like your
attitudes
opinion,
were
man.
about that is that those should have been switched. When someone said yes, it should have been the
All right.
womp. But
So you
Oh.
could instead of that
Yes.
Toyota, you have a
Mhm.
blank slate to build out to your heart's
Purple.
desire with a
well, let's not say
pass-through.
blank. That's a purple slate.
That is plum
Purple.
crazy purple.
Purple.
Wow.
Yep.
Very,
I mean,
very
yes.
purple. An E350, good condition, as it says.
Mm.
Let's see.
Believable.
For cons. Quigley off-road package, 4-wheel drive, pop top.
Still yes.
Big giant aluminum basket on top, 6-inch lift, 33-inch tire,
V10.
V10 gas. Take some spare spark plugs and some sleeves with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just tack weld them once you get them in there. You just get a
Man, I hate that color.
For
It's a
That
horrible
pop top
color.
is tall.
it's so
Yeah,
tall.
it is.
And I'm not even counting the rack
Yeah.
that's on top of it.
It's so
But
big.
like that's got to be double the height of Lauren's.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've seen those before. It's like a high top that's motorized or has like a mechanism in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, even closed with the basket, it's like pretty aggressive.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
people are 7 feet tall, and it's. No, I still would.
But
I'd paint it white.
no, I was just gonna say the condition is that you have to keep the color. That's the rule.
I still would.
I'm
Yeah.
making the
Yeah,
rules
that's a-
for this, and
He's
you have
making
to
the
keep
rules.
The color.
It's got to be purple.
I'll drive through enough mud puddles on a regular. I'll reverse car wash it. I will never let it be clean enough that you can see how purple it is.
Man,
Man,
I think the combo of the color and the V10. I think I might be out on this one. I want to love it, but I just
One
don't.
band Sean doesn't want.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the? Yeah, that's. I mean that purple is the McDonald's guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Grimace.
Oh,
What's his
Grimace.
Grimace.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Grimace
is
purple.
Grimace purple,
And it
right
makes
there.
me grimace.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it makes you do.
I'm a no.
I saw one of those like fuchsia colored jail Wranglers, but it was a 392 today.
Oh
And
yeah.
I thought, man, that thing's
Tuscadero?
sweet.
Mhm.
And it's very close to the same color, but it looks so bad on that van.
I'd buy polarized sunglasses that just off that color just a little bit enough that it looks burgundy or something.
Yeah, it looks right on a Jeep.
Go
Looks
from there.
wrong on a
Yeah.
van.
Yeah, it's not
Well, it's
good.
a lot more color on on a van.
A
than
lot
on
of surface
Jeep.
area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's no
Yep.
black hard top, black fenders. No,
Mhm.
There's no breaking it up.
yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
Do you have another, Colin, or are you out?
No,
I've
that's
got
it.
one.
You've got one.
This is
If
like
it's another Sylvia, I
this
swear
is
to God.
would you pay money
Yeah,
for this? Living
I am gonna
edition.
kick you out.
He's got the ban button. He's just
I am
sitting
ready
ready for the
to
ban
just
button. Come on.
Boot. This better be good.
Look at that. Like I said,
Yes.
Is that an Ursa Minor top? Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yep,
is,
I want one of those.
Would you pay money for that live-in edition? There we go. 15 Rubicon Wrangler JK with an Ursa Minor camper on it.
Yeah. It's
Falcon shocks.
31,005, 95,000 miles.
Pretty.
I mean that's not that much
pretty
more
s-
expensive
pretty
than the
standard
Jeep
Rubicon.
just to be a Rubicon.
Yeah, it's just a top, right?
And
Yeah.
it's I mean it's a post
I got that
12,
table.
so that's good.
Pentastar, yeah.
Yeah. Better interior.
2011 is when the interior changed.
Right. Well, I'm just saying
Which I appreciate because that's what I have. I have the shittier motor, but the better interior, which I wish they had done the other way around.
cost over 26K in upgrades.
Oh, a bunch of AEV stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
know. So AEV bumpers,
I
mean,
lift,
yes.
wheels.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
513.
half the AEV stuff might have come from the factory, honestly. 'Cause you
Yeah.
could get
That
those.
I think that started as an AEV.
Yeah.
Is it on 37s or
Right.
35s?
35s with 513 gears. It's ready for 40s.
Yeah, you need 37s.
Jesus.
Because I got 513s with 37s and I have half the horsepower.
Pretty cool.
You could 37 that all day.
I would pay money for that.
Yeah, I'd have it.
Yeah. I mean, yes, for sure.
Curious
I
how
appreciate
much
that
room that
they
has, but I still like it.
I appreciate the top is color matched
Yeah, that's
as
nice.
well. It makes it look a lot better. If it was not color matched, it would kind of feel off. But
It's also
looks-
optioned to have the side windows too, because I've seen those without the
Mhm.
side windows.
That's
Yeah.
nice too, yeah.
I've seen a bunch of them where they fake the side windows with like plexiglass and make them openable too.
Yeah,
which is
they
kinda
do
cool.
movable. You can do sliding, you can do pop out, or you can do like blanking plates so that you don't get the light, or just regular windows.
Oh, on the like quarter
On
windows.
the quarter
I
windows,
see.
yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah, they have like
Yeah.
4 or 5 different window choices.
They make like toolboxes that you can put in there and some other stuff too. Make them little storage spaces, which is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
one.
Absolutely would.
Yeah, yes.
I would not.
Okay.
From the only guy I know that's had 2 JKs of the same era at the
Yeah.
same time.
Fucking hated them.
So
Driving, I hated driving them.
Former GPI. Did you sell all
Oh,
your ducks
God.
when you got rid of your JKs, or
Luckily,
Just
I
didn't
didn't
keep
have
any
any.
of
I didn't drive them around enough to ever be a victim of that crime.